Dear friends, happy Monday to you. I trust you had a beautiful, restful weekend celebrating Father's Day yesterday. Here we are with our usual Monday check-in, our Mindful Motivation for Mindset Mastery session. So, if you watched these sessions with me before, you know that I like to just kind of feel into the wisdom of the moon phase. And this one is a very important one. They're actually all important to one degree or another. But this week we're deeply influenced by the new moon in the sign of Gemini, which actually arrived yesterday. So just feel into this. This is an important time. New moons or dark moons are a time to really bring your awareness in. It's a beautiful time for introspection, for checking in, and perhaps planting seeds or assessing your intentions, your goals, the things that you are saying yes to and the things that you're saying no to. This is a time where we often like to spend some time alone, doing some journaling, doing some contemplation. Now, what makes this quite different and gives it its unique flavor is that it's in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is a very intellectual, thinking, communication, storytelling type of sign. The ruler of Gemini is Mercury, and we know that Mercury is all about communication. So here's the piece of advice that we can really feel into as we move forward this week. I've said this to you before, that the effect of particularly the new moon and the full moon phase are felt a couple of days before and a couple of days after. And so we're still being embraced by this Gemini new moon energy. And so it's about being curious, about checking in with the story that you're telling to yourself about yourself. The way that you show up, is it in alignment with the truth of you? Because, sometimes we can be in situations where we are led to believe that we must look a certain way, or we must put on a mask in order to belong to this tribe, or to ascribe to these ways of thinking over here. But we forget sometimes, and that's what the power of this new moon is to just check in. Am I really showing up as the authentic, real truth of who I am, and sharing my gifts and telling people who I am and being okay with that? Now, why I'm saying that too is that Gemini, and we know that the sign of Gemini is about twins, so it represents duality. So it's about just checking in with that inner and outer communication way of being, and is the story or the narrative that you're following for your life, is it true? Is it part of your evolution? Is it, because part of this too makes me realize, as I'm kind of riffing into this idea, is that we all go through phases and cycles and patterns, and a certain way of being may have suited a certain chapter of your life. Is it time to let go of something? Is it time to plant some seeds to work on over the next 6 months? That's the other part of a new moon, is we follow the moon cycles, new moon to full moon. So new moon is where we're planting seeds and we're setting intentions, and you can have short-term intentions and goals that you will manifest or have the resolution or the achievement at full moon in 30 days, but you also get to look bigger picture for the 6 months. So that's new moon in Gemini. Hi Mort, nice to see you here. So the new moon in Gemini, and then the 6 months later is the full moon in Gemini. So these are like big picture type goals, particularly, like I said, to do with the narrative that you are sharing with the world about who you are, what you're here for, what's your gifts. Are you sharing them? Are you bringing your authenticity to your way of being and your way of showing up in the world? So I told you it was a big week. So if I bring up anything that kind of challenges you or confuses you or discombobulates you in any way, just let me know. You can put it in the comments below or message me directly, because the intention of these sessions that I provide for you is to help you ease into your sense of rhythm and balance and harmony within you. So, as I've said all of that, I'm just shuffling my letting go guidance cards. I actually use 4 different decks of cards for these sessions to kind of go into different layers and different nuances of this whole idea of mastering our own mindset. And this is beautifully aligned with the Gemini new moon, because that is where mindset and storytelling and language and words and things of that nature. So be curious with yourself, be compassionate with yourself. And let's look at, as we peel those layers, let's see what we can focus on letting go of in order to get this kind of alignment. Oh, that's perfect. The card that's come up is the past. So, you know how I just said that we can act a certain way, speak a certain way, ascribe to certain mindsets or beliefs for a specific type of chapter or phase of our life or phase of our own evolution and development. But the past is the past. And so sometimes it's a time, and new moon energy is really powerful for this, is to just look and have a review. Are the things that you've put in motion, the things that you've said yes to and the things that you've said no to, are they really part of your authentic truth still? Is it time to put some things down and take on some new things? Is it time to learn something new? Is it time to read something new? These are all parts of the intellect that may be brought into play for you with this Gemini energy. So just breathe into that. Feel into that. Of course, with it being the intellect, you want to manage the intellect, not get too overrun by the thinking process. So now I'm just pulling us a tarot card. Oh, this is perfect. Too funny. The tarot cards are kind of double underlining that we need to let go of the past. The 6 of Cups actually signifies the propensity in some of us to get caught up in, childhood memories or remembering how things were, as opposed to bringing your attention fully into the present. So that could be something that you could contemplate and be introspective about with your journaling and with your taking your attention and your awareness in. Do you sometimes get too caught up in the way things used to be or the way you used to feel without allowing yourself to go, okay, here, no, I'm here. Don't get caught up in past stories. And that's another beautiful gift, is maybe it's time to recraft a story. Rewrite your story. We all have the ability and the power to step fully into the fact that we are powerful creator beings. So if the story that you're telling or living is not authentically aligned with your essence, that doesn't make your heart sing, maybe it's time to start a new story. You can do that. And like I said, if you have any questions or need a wee bit of support on that, you can put it in the comments below or message me directly. So now that I've said all that, I'm going to pull 3 of the Healing with the Angels cards. I just find that very supportive, and then we'll wrap it up with one of my Liberate Your Inner Truth. Well now, you know how I love these cards, how they just so line up beautifully with the energy that we're kind of tapping into together. Because your energy is stamping on this too, whether you're here with me live or watching the recording, your energy gets to flow with this too. So check this out. The first card that came up is New Beginnings. Especially true of a new moon, and especially true with the communication, right? The really muchly underlined piece around communicating. Inner communication is the place where we start and then come into the outer communication to bring everything into harmony. So this is an invitation to bring into harmony the story you're telling to yourself about yourself and then sharing with the world. The other part of it, and this kind of refers to that duality that I said with the Gemini, is to surrender and release. Is it time to surrender and release and realize that if things start getting a bit sticky or you keep hitting blocks or things aren't flowing, maybe it's time to just surrender, release it, give it up to a higher purpose and focus on the things that you can do. Focus on the things where you really feel that sense of yes, which maybe I can give you a wee piece of homework on this one. What does yes feel like in your body? For many people, yes feels like an uplifting kind of up. What does it feel like for you? What does yes feel? And follow it. On the flip side of that, we need to also know what no feels like. But maybe that's part of your inner communication, to just time to get in touch with that and allow it. Not the other thing about this, all this idea and energy that I'm sharing with you for this week, there's not a lot of action steps. It's more about contemplation, being curious, having a sense of fun and play and looking at the stories. As we move through the cycle of the moon, that's when we get called into doing more action stuff. But this is more about being the observed and the observer. There's another piece of duality. Okay, so wrapping this one up, I'm just pulling one of my Liberate Your Inner Truth cards. And beautiful, the one that's come up for us today is I am abundant. You are abundant. We are all abundant. Let me read this out to you. This is a beautiful message to just maybe take into these contemplation ideas that we're all kind of being drawn to do this week. Abundance is not a circumstance or a condition. Abundance is never temporary. It is permanent. It's my natural state of mind, which underlies everything I experience in the world. Breathe that in. Powerful, powerful message. I trust this supports, resonates, and clicks with you. I wish you a beautiful week ahead. Like I said, if you need any support or guidance, message me or put it in the comments below. I wish you a beautiful week ahead, and I'll be back with you again next week.